Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I haven't.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No,
I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live. Not so live. And that is a song written by me, sung by me from many years ago, called Biloxi Blues. Still get questions about that, so I'm going to answer them. And I think the funniest thing, man, I got so many folks that truly love that song. And I get fired up about music. Y'all know that's a big part of my life. And I think it's funny. There are people that listen to the show that aren't necessarily fans, and I bet they know the words of the song. they trolling, they coming in, and I bet this highway. But they still know the damn words. But they know the words because they've listened to that intro so many times now. So that is Biloxi Blues for all you low lifers and mom's basement dwellers circling around. I got a musical announcement to make. I'm going to open the show with a little self-promotion here. December the 11th in Columbia, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, about 30 minutes south of Nashville. I've been asked to open up for some friends of mine in a band called the Vagabonds. And a lot of you out there are probably familiar with those guys. They are a band that has been all over the place, and back in the last few years, they are Road Warriors, a fantastic Southern rock band. And we will be taking the stage before those guys December the 11th at the Mule House. I don't know if it's the Mule House Theater. It's a very cool venue. It's an old church in Columbia, Tennessee. It's a new venue. And so if you are in Middle Tennessee, North Alabama, wherever, if you're within a drive, tickets are available on their website at the Mule House. Let me get the exact here. I just, got to plug it. But Mule House, what's it called here? This is professional. It's just called the Mule House. It's just called the Mule House event venue. But themulehouse.com, themulehouse.com. Tickets are $20. December 11th. Come hang out. We're going to play some music. The Vagabonds are going to kill it. We're going to do our little piece before it, and I'm looking forward to that. It's been a minute since we've played, and excited to break out some tunes in that new venue. So if you're listening and you like the music at all, and if you're close, this is not the last time you're going to hear this, but December 11th. Come hang out with the Luke Duncan extravaganza, whatever we're called. It used to be Luke Duncan and Second Place Jake back in the day, but Luke Duncan and Second Place Jake opening up for the Vagabonds. And go check those boys out. They put a new album out in September, and if you like Southern rock, really good harmony, some good guitar licks in there, amazing vocals, go check them boys out. Good boys. Good boys, as they say. All right, welcome, you bunch of low-lifers. Had to get that plug in there, man. I'm excited. I got confirmation on that yesterday, so super, super pumped about that coming up in a month, because this is the podcast for Monday, November the 15th, and we're less than a month away from that date, and I miss it. I miss playing music all the time. I did that for many, many years. Fishing and music have always been my two, just like the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the shoulder, I guess, or my two loves, but one always kind of takes away from the other. It's hard to be up and on the water at daylight when you're out playing music till 3 a.m. and vice versa. So it's hard to be out late playing music when you've been fishing a tournament all day long, or you're, a million miles away from home. And we played regionally for a long time. We've played everywhere from Texas to, Florida and everywhere in between, I feel like, there for several years. But good time, man. So I'm looking forward to getting on the stage with them boys and throwing down in Columbia, Tennessee. All right. That was like 3 minutes of self-promotion. So I want to say I'm sorry and you're welcome all at the same time. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Got an awesome guest today. A guy that I'm super pumped about talking to. But first, let's run through these sponsors real quick, and then we're gonna get into the dang thing. First and foremost, we want to thank these people right here, StarTron, Starbright, bringing you Low Budget Live for 4 years now, kicking ethanol in the teeth, in the weed eater, in your chainsaw, in your pressure washer. If you're storing your boat, I see a lot of y'all tagging me in this. If you're storing your boat for longer than 3 weeks, and a lot of you are, whether it's deer season or the water's freezing up where you're at, you're going to want to drop some of this right here. A little dab will do you. 256 gallons is what this bottle will treat, but take care of that ethanol problem. It's going to gum up the works. You're going to go to crank that sucker up next spring, or maybe it's a month from now, but you're going to let it sit. That ethanol is a problem. Knock it out with StarTron. Kick it in the teeth. Right there. We appreciate those folks right there. The fine individuals out there. Bozeman, Montana. Montana? Yellowstone? What? No, has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that, but Simms Fishing Products. Even though they're in one of, to me, the coolest states in this fine country of ours, Montana. I love it out there. And what a cool company. Simms. Fish it well, they say. And you can do that in the right gear, whether it is the rain suits, whether it's the layering, whether it's the gloves, the toboggans, the hats, you name it. Solar Flex, sun shirts, if you're lucky enough to actually need that right now. We do not in Tennessee because it is frigid here now. I'm over it. I am completely over it. But Simms making quality fishing products and some good looking stuff. You want to take your wife out to dinner, they got that too. They got you covered. Get on there, check it out. Get on simmsfishing.com. And remember, you get one life, fish it well. Pro Guide batteries, keeping you large and charged, man, out there on the water. They got those new lithium, just half the weight, charge fast, keep you going. You can stand on that Garmin Force all day long and not worry about losing that juice. Pro Guide Batteries wants to give you a discount just for tuning into the show. Use code LBL10. ProGuideBatteries.com. Get you one of them 31 AGMs. Get you some of them lithiums. Get you a charger over there. Get it all. ProGuideBatteries.com. And last but certainly not least, we talk about these folks a lot, and there's good reason for it. Express Boats, the official boat of Low Budget Live and the Traveling Circus. Just cannot say enough good things. Y'all hear it every week if you tune in and you don't fast forward through this part. The X21 with the C deck, with the, look at the company man, with that Yamaha show on the back. I'm sorry if you want one right now because they selling like hotcakes from what I'm hearing. That X21, they're selling, and I got a sneak peek at a little maybe a new one for next year down there in Louisiana a couple weeks ago, and looking mighty fine. I'm ready to get my hands on one of them. Ready to get my hands on it, but love that boat. Y'all know it. Talk about it all the time. Fantastic boat built by fantastic people. I've had the good fortune, and this is how I base everything, man. There are a lot of really good companies in the marine industry, a lot of great boat companies with a lot of great employees, and I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of them. And, and getting to do what I do for my day job at TH Marine. Like, I am fortunate that I know a lot of people, and I feel like we work in one of the best industries around with some of the best people, man. And I can say that Express, from the top to the daggum guy building the boat, to the dude sweeping the floor, man. They are all first class, and they have been building excitement since 1966 there in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So if you get a chance, and you're looking for something a little different, Go check you out an X19, an X21. Go for a ride in one. Let me know what you think, because it'll blow your mind. I'm just telling you. Express Boats, we appreciate those folks. All right, man. I'm getting back in the swing of things here, man. I don't normally start the show just plugging concerts, plugging gigs. So that was rare for me. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. We're back in it now, though. I feel like we're back in this together. All right. Just some quick housekeeping notes here before we get our guest on. And that is, I wanted to say a huge congratulations to Bass. And it's not over. I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon, but on the Redfish deal, the Redfish Cup. I know Redfish, for a lot of people, man, you live in the Northeast, you're like, You live in the Midwest, you're like, I get it. I've always had just a gigantic love of those things. I caught one at the beach when I was a kid down in Orange Beach, Alabama, on a spook, and I'll never forget it. Never forget the bite, never forget all of it. And then I got obsessed with them, and I've caught several in my life, and I've gone on several trips, and y'all have seen that. And in the bass fishing world, for whatever reason, people normally don't they don't normally go that route, right? Like, it is a niche thing because you've got to be obviously on the Gulf Coast to do it, certain parts of the country. And so it's not as popular as bass tournaments. But, man, the team format is something we are missing in professional bass fishing. Redfish Cup, for me, back in the day when it was hooked in, it was on ESPN. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. So I've watched as much of this event as I have any event all year. Like, I've been so pumped, and it's cool to see Trayton Chris Zaldane mixing it up, Matt Herron, Derek Hudnall, and Mark Menendez going up against these dudes. And right now, as I'm recording this, Zaldane is Chris and his partner actually leading the event. Very cool, man. But seeing them work together, and like I said, I think that is something missing in the sport of professional bass fishing, is a team style event where you can pull for both guys, where one dude has this strength, the other dude has this strength. It's very cool to watch. And these guys that are super dialed in that sport, in that format, catching two fish, they got to be less than 28 inches and they got to be over 20, like that slot limit stuff. Like, it's very intense, man. And it takes a lot of skill and a lot of years of experience to know, okay, well, this school might have these that are this size or that size. Like, those guys are so dialed. And it's been a lot of fun to watch it on FS1. Ronnie Moore, Tommy, the legend Sanders, and then Captain Rick Murphy from Florida, my old buddy Captain Rick. I did Rick's show a couple years ago down in Florida, and he the Fishing Insider down there. If you're in Florida, you've seen that, and he's a pro's pro, man. Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed his commentary. He needs to maybe step up into the bass game and just be a commentator, because Rick's never at a loss for words, but it was top notch, man. He really did a great job. So kudos to Bass on that. I thought it was a really cool event. Thanks to Yamaha for sponsoring that. And you look at social media, there's not a ton of comments on it. Like, people tune out. I've seen it on my own channel when I post saltwater stuff. Guys don't want to see that. I understand it, but it's cool, man. And if you ever get a chance, go do it. Go check it out. Go on a redfish trip. Go down to Venice, Louisiana, and catch you some up, because it is fantastic. Text our guest. All right. Texting that old guest right there today. Another thing I got to say, kudos to Bass for. They landed another big one back in the old Bass Shield. Mike Iaconelli announced on Ike Live this past week he's bringing her back to the Elite Series, and I think that will be it's good for Bass, it's good for him, it's good for the sport, and obviously good for Mike and his family. It's what he wanted to do. And he set out a year, and I think it's pretty cool, man. I see he fished Toyotas last year. He's such a competitor, man. Won a kayak event last year. But it's cool to see him back on the Elite Series and trying to run down another classic, another Angler of the Year. So look forward to keeping up with that next year. Something else I got to touch base on real fast, two things. First of all, NPFL. I have talked to the ownership this week. I've talked to a lot of anglers this week, and they're rocking and rolling in 2022. I know I talked about it last week, but that's kind of the update. I think that it's safe to say there will be a full field. I've never seen anglers band together really on anything like I have this. Like, these guys want this to happen. They want it to work. And so they're definitely, they're going to do that. And they have a long-term plan and a budget in place and different things. And we'll see, man. We'll see. I believe, I've said it from the jump, I believe in what the guys are trying to do. I think it has a place in bass fishing, and they're carrying on. So I really enjoyed the conversation that I had with Brad Fuller this week, one of my bosses there. And I will be back in 2022 doing the commentary, and we'll definitely have live coverage. And I'm ready to get back over there and mix it up with those dudes again. So I think they've got things ironed out and got a new investor. It's part owner and ready to rock and roll, man. We're ready to rock and roll. So I think there are things that got to be worked out roster-wise. I think there were some guys that were going to fish that weren't going to fish that might be going to fish now. I'm not going to, until we're ready to announce a roster, I'm not going to, but it's interesting. It's interesting. And bass fishing's always this way, but the roller coaster that it has been the last couple of weeks for us in the NPFL and the anglers and the ownership and all that. So we're climbing again. We're climbing again. So I look forward to seeing what 2022 brings. That is for sure. One other housekeeping note, and then we're gonna get this guest on the phone. I got a call from somebody that I respect immensely in the sport of bass fishing, and I won't say the name here, but it is somebody that fishes the Bass Pro Tour. Somebody I consider a friend, but it's somebody, even more than that, it's somebody that I respect, not only their angling ability, but their business sense in fishing, and just as a human, just like a really good person. And what I respect the most about him, though, is he's never afraid to call me on anything, right? And through the years, if I say, hey, BPT's doing this, or MLF's doing this, or Black Bass is doing this, or that, he's always, if I'm right, he's the first dude to say, yeah, yeah, you're right, man. I hate that it's that way, or, sucks hearing it. Truth sucks, but you're right. But if I say something that's maybe not true, or something that I perceive, or some information that I get that I say, because I try not to be a guy that spreads rumors. I don't. I try to have fact if I say it on here. And I made a statement last week about BPT, and this was in my NPFL spiel, and I'll be honest, I did not, this wasn't really a slight at BPT in the least, but I was saying that I have heard rumors that they're not paying people on time. I've heard that all year. I've had a lot of people ask me to talk about that. I refuse to talk about it because I don't know any truth to it. This angler in particular called me on Friday and was like, hey, man, like I gotta just kind of call you out on this. And we had a long, really good conversation, and he said he gets his checks direct deposited within 2 days. He says they've never owed him a dime. And so if that is the case, it's not the case with this guy. And I wanted to say, that wasn't me trying to spread any kind of rumor whatsoever. But that is something that's out there. It has floated around. But as I've seen with the NPFL situation, a lot of people online that have nothing to do with absolutely anything in the industry, or just fans, just create and make up their own narratives, and they make little memes about it and stuff like that. And it's just funny, So I try to not do that. Like, if I say something about it, I always feel like it's either my opinion or I feel like it's fact. So this guy, like I said, who I respect as much as anybody in this entire industry, felt I was spreading a rumor. And so I wanted to address that and say, very much not the case with him. And I've not heard that from an angler at BPT. I'll put it that way. There's a lot of chatter about that throughout the year, but not from an angler. And this was an actual dude that's won a lot of money, to say the least. So very successful angler. So apologies on that. Definitely not, especially after the last couple weeks of living just rumors and bullcrap. Don't want to be that dude. All right. So my guest today, shout out to that mysterious BPT angler who's very successful over there. All right. This guy right here is very intriguing to me. And I reached out to him. He commented on last week's podcast, and I decided I got to get this dude on sooner than later. He just won the Federation Nation, Bass Nation Championship, National Championship, which sends him to not only to the Bassmaster Classic, but also a berth into the Elite Series and a boat to fish out this really cool package. And he won it out of a 31-year-old Ranger 365V. I said it last week. Very much like a Boats and Pros boat. So let's get him on the phone right now from Hollywood, California, Matty Wong.
Hi, are you calling to extend your car service or warranty?
I am indeed. I am indeed. Normally that works in reverse. But I like this tactic, though.
I figured, they give you the 808 number. There's got to be something.
What's up, Matty Wong? I appreciate you making me laugh this morning. I like it.
Oh, dude, we've got to wake up to the right side of the bed. Right?
That's right, dude. You seem like, from everything that I can tell about you, man, and I've never had the pleasure of meeting you or spending any time with you, but, man, I've been digging in. When I decide, I'm like, dude, I got to have this guy on. I'm watching that tournament play out. And then I've read, a couple things that Bass have done. I'm like, this guy right here is not your atypical bass fisherman story, right? And dude, it's an honor to speak with you. I'm going to be honest.
Hey, man, same here, man. I really appreciate that. And I'm really stoked to be able to share my story and be able to talk with you, man. So thank you for reaching out, man.
Yeah, hey, man. When you popped up in the comments, I was like, yes, let's do this. Let's do this as quick as we can, because you're going to be a busy man starting pretty soon. And that's what I want to start with is first of all, congratulations. But second of all, that comes with this Elite Series deal. Are you accepting that?
Yes, I am. Well, first of all, I really appreciate that. Second of all, it's my work has already begun. I've been floating on cloud nine, with people calling me and texts and messages. It's been so overwhelming, but in the most positive way possible. It's seriously a dream come true, man. And it's crazy that, just if I were to tell my younger self that I was going to be fishing on the Elite Series one day and fishing the Bassmaster Classic, I'd laugh and say I was lying.
And to be 32, man, like you're talking about your younger self. I'm 38, so you're younger than me. So you're a young man. We're still young. Here, Matt.
33, but I'm enjoying the third level, man. The third floor, the view's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I like that, dude. I need you in Tennessee to be like my motivational, like get me going every day, dude. You have this positivity that don't quit. I like it.
No, thanks, brother. Well, dude, I will be heading down through Tennessee. I'm going to be fishing Chickamauga, so we're going to have to do this in person again.
For sure, dude. I would love to have you here in the low budget bar and grill, man. It's exactly that. It's nothing fancy, man, but we can get it done. I would enjoy that. When are you coming to Chick?
Well, I mean, if I'm looking at the schedule, let me pull it up here. I think Chickamauga ends up rolling in April 7th through the 10th.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm still, with my previous career, it sounds so nice to say that too.
We got to get into that. We got to get into that a little bit.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, we'll dive in a bit, man. But yeah, I've been able to travel around fairly a lot with my with my profession, and which is basically I'm I was a lighting director and a photographer. So basically, technical strobe lighting, studio lighting. So anything that you see, on billboards to the front of like GQ magazine. I've worked with recently lit a cover with Justin Bieber and did Ariana Grande's album cover. And
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty, it was fun and enjoyable. But what was more alluring to me was the fact that one, I was able to be my own boss, having Matty Wong Pictures as my company name, and I was able to basically take on the clients that I wanted to take on, and allowing me to fish as many times as I could or fish whatever tournaments that I wanted to locally.
Wow. And that's so important, man. I have a lot of young guys reach out. I say this a lot week after week, honestly, and they're like, man, how do I, what career path do I need to take? And really, a lot of folks want to work in the fishing industry. I think they think that's the path to the Bassmaster Elite Series, or you'll get the time to do it. But I think right there, it's so important to hear, you got your own business and you sacrifice so you can go chase what you love.
It really is, because you have to ask yourself the question: is am I working to live?
Yeah. Yep.
Or am I living to work?
I love it.
And so, and trust me, man. Like I said, I'm not a young buck, but I'm also, I have a little bit of wisdom underneath me, but I'm also, a lot to learn. But I've been grateful enough to have a few different careers now at this point in my life. I'm a saxophonist. I've played saxophone for over 16 years. I was able to play it professionally for 8. I was an actor, SAG-AFTRA, union actor. I played a surfer stoner bro on Hawaii 5-0 and get arrested.
Okay. I'm going to go look that up. All right.
Yeah, you can look it up. You go type in Matty Wong gets arrested. It's pretty funny. But yeah, man, it's funny because there's it's a culmination of a few things. And I've always, and I've been in the industry now, the entertainment industry for over a decade. But I want to say that, doing the behind the scenes technical stuff I've been doing for the past 8.5 years in Los Angeles. And, with that, after, hustling auditions and trying to get on, trying to just basically just make ends meet and be able to just struggle to pay rent. And then when I fell into the photo world, and, that just really, that allowed me to, just have more time to dedicate, allocate more time towards my craft. And, yeah, man, bass fishing is just so addicting. Well,
so reading articles, checking up on you, fishing is something that when you could, because I want to say this because we haven't even talked about this. Mm-hmm. You are from Hawaii, first of all. Okay, so forget the fact that you're like LA and you're going to auditions and you're doing the lighting thing and you're an amazing musician. Your fishing started in Hawaii. Okay, that's where you're from. Yeah. Then you end up here in the mainland. You moved to California, but when you are because I hear you say bass fishing is an addiction, and it is for so many of us. That's what I say. To do it for a living, you have to be obsessed. You have to be addicted, because there are days it's just not fun. It does become like work, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
the Washita River probably was like work a little bit, right? But when you're in LA, dude, I know Southern Cal is in Northern Cal, a lot of fisheries, but when you were there actually working, where would you bass fish? Where would you keep that fire going for tournament bass fishing there in LA?
So this is crazy. See, I mean, I'll kind of, I mean, I was going to touch, what I'll do is I'll tell you about kind of my route.
Yeah, please.
On that. And then I'll take the listeners back to, you know, when I was a kid in Hawaii.
For sure. Yeah.
But when I was living in Los Angeles, I realized, you know, and if you read my story, and if you guys haven't, you can check it out on the Bassmaster website.
It's a fantastic story. Fantastic.
Yeah, and Andrew did an incredible job.
Yes.
Great writer. And he, you know, he broke it down. But while I was, you know, in California doing all this stuff in Los Angeles at that, there's a couple little urban ponds. And you know, whenever I wasn't able to make it up to the Delta and go and fish off my Uncle Bob's boat, I was putting in as much days as I possibly could on this pond called Kenneth Hahn.
Okay.
And it's this tiny little pond in Los Angeles, and I would, you know, then there was good sized bass in there. I pulled out 2 8-pounders back to back, 2 days in a row, and on a 8-inch swim bait. And so it was a place where not only I would learn seasonal patterns, because in Hawaii you have one season, you know, it's summer, and then you have wet summer.
It's not all bad. I'm going to be honest. I could handle summer. I'm here for that.
But you know, when you grow up in it, you know, like the thought of seasons, the thought of fall, the thought of, you know, spring, those kind of things. It's you hear about it, you fantasize about it, but you're never able to live in it. And so, the fact that even in Los Angeles you have these minor seasonal changes, I would look and pay attention and study bass behavior. And then obviously on top of like the addiction wormhole of YouTube and bass fishing,
yeah,
but and spending it probably a little bit more than I probably should have on tackle and whatnot. I was just putting in as much days as I could on the water. If I had, you know, a 9 a.m. call time, I knew that the park opened at 5, and I would be at the park at 4:45, be the first one in, be able to do, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 laps around the pond, maybe catch a bass, maybe not, most of the time not, and then go to work and be stoked. And then after I was done, like shoot back over to the pond and go put some more time in. Jeez. And when people, and it's funny because, you know, yeah, there was times where I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, what am I doing putting all this time into this pond? But, you know, in hindsight, I'm like, you know, it will help some way or another. And it's funny because, you know, and just like any other body of water, yes, these fish would go up on beds. I would learn how to bed. I learned really, like, I was able to study more about bed fishing, because then I would see and understand, like, the pattern, like, okay, I know we have a good full moon cycle coming up, but I'd also, we have good weather. These fish are going to push up. Sure enough, they'd be pushed up. They'd already be, the bucks would be kind of like guarding certain areas and like making beds, trying to pull in these females. And then you'd watch these females move up and push onto bed, start fanning and whatnot. And then I would start learning the nuances of like, actually figuring out where the sweet spot is and what they wanted and whatnot. And so I think in hindsight now, looking back, yeah, all of that time on the water, even if it was a pond, it was valuable to you know, where it led me today. And there's a couple other little fisheries around. Castaic. So in 2018, I pulled my boat down from NorCal down to Southern California, and I started fishing and putting a lot of time on Castaic, where you know, the late great Aaron Martins spent a lot of time with his mom, and I would just hear stories, and and hear techniques through and stuff that maybe didn't hit the internet, where, like, oh, this is how Aaron would work a drop shot, or this is how Aaron would do this. And I'm like, wow, I'm like taking as many notes and literally keeping a log. And I still have a log where every single time I go out on the water, I would write down conditions, moon phase, what's going on, like surface temperature, like, or surface conditions, what stage where the fish were at in the spawn or maybe post spawn or whatnot, and then what kind of lures and then experiences. And all those little things kind of help me add up and basically like build up this encyclopedia in my head of little experiences and little I would just say situational things that I could apply on different bodies of water. So in 2019, I fished the Bass Nation, the California Bass Nation tour as a because I only have fished club events in 2018. And I was really excited to go and start doing, like the whole Bass Nation thing. It was like literally a dream of mine to go and fish against like California's best dudes. And so I go out and I get my butt handed to me on the back of the boat. And it was a humbling experience because I thought I knew how to catch them, like felt like my casting's pretty good. I feel like my bait presentation's good, my cadence and my decision-making skills. But what I was trying to do was trying to power fish from behind the boat. And so I quickly learned, and and I had a moment where we were fishing the Delta, and I was really excited about this fishery because I had spent a couple years there with my boat, and I kind of with tides growing up in Hawaii and saltwater fishing, I understand like how these fish feed. And I ended up getting a draw where this man, sweetest guy too, but he ended up like blowing his motor. We get swamped. So how's this? He runs over a tule berm the day before. Runs over a tule berm. My buddy was his the day before. He's like, dude, that guy smoked a tule berm. And I'm like, oh. And so like we get swamped off the takeoff because we're right in the middle of the soup, and we get up on pad. Not even 30 seconds on pad, his alarm starts going off.
Oh god.
And I'm like, hey man, you hear that? And he's like, what?
It's like, send it.
What? I was like, do you hear that? He's like, yeah, I wasn't doing that yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a good sound, bud. Like, and we ran 8 miles.
Jeez. I like it.
I was like, holy crap. And so it went into Guardian mode, and we got stuck. Oh, and wow. I spent the entire tide swing on the phone with his son, who was a Mercury mechanic, and troubleshooting, like pulled apart his carb, pulled to make sure there was no like water, like literally doing all this because the guy, and like I said, bless his heart, he's an older gentleman, and I told him, and I'm still friends with him today. I'm like, dude, I'm inspired by you. The fact that I think he's like 78 or something, wow. And he's still out there doing it. I'm just like, dude, I'm so stoked for this. We've just got crap luck, and we ended up idling back, and it took 3 hours to idle back, and I took a nap.
That's amazing. So you never got it fixed, even with his Mercury mechanic son.
Yeah, he's like,
and your positive attitude, you couldn't make it work.
He goes, yeah, bud. He's like, no, he's like, you're gonna have to bring that in, man. And I was so we idled back, and that's when that was the moment where I'm like, you know what? Next year, I'm doing it as a boater.
Going all in, yeah.
I'm just gonna go all in because I know that and after fishing that season, I was able to. I'm like, I would just make different decisions than some of these guys. And I knew that I can, or I didn't know, but I had confidence that I'd be able to hang. And, and so that's when 2020, I decided to sign up as a boater and fish. And, our first event was on a spotted bass lake, that has some big largemouth because they stock trout, but it was predominantly spots. And I found a swim bait bite on my last day in practice. And it was my first spot in the morning. I pull up and catch a 2.5 pound spot, which was like great to start the day because the average fish was 1.25 pounds. And my next cast, I stuck at 8.5 pound largie.
Holy cow!
And I led day one, and all the guys that didn't really talk to me too much the previous year as like a getting my butt whipped, all kind of introduced themselves and
like, what's up, man? What kind of swim baits you like?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, right?
So
what's up, Maddie? Yeah, I love that saxophone, dog. Yeah.
And I'm friends with all. They're all good dudes, and so. Yeah, I ended up taking second. Day two, I swung for the fences again. Wasn't able to get the bites I needed, but was able to stay in the top three. Finished top two, and then the next event was at Nasi, and basically COVID hit. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, kind of it shrunk our season short. And I fished Nasi Minnow. I got fourth at Nasi, and I knew that, with the short season, all it was going to take was 2 good top finishes and out of 3 make the team. And so I ended up making the team my first year as a boater.
Cool.
And we fished Lake Havasu. And during the pandemic, I snuck away to Havasu twice, 2 different times. And I fell in love with the place. I was like, wow, it's like the Delta and Clear Lake put together. It's clear. It's kind of a river system, so there's a little bit of current, but then you also have like this deep highland reservoir, aspects to it that kind of remind me of Castaic, and fell in love with the place. And so during the regional event, I kind of approached it differently than I guess most guys did, just because I'm not fishing any type of history. And I ended up sticking 18 pounds day one, where the average bag was about 8. And
again, they're like, Maddie, what's up, man? Everybody's gathering around. What's up, bro?
I stayed in for dinner. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's funny because all my buddies, they gave me crap about it. They're like, dude, we knew you were on them as soon as you didn't want to come out and eat dinner with everyone.
Hey, if as long as you're not talking to them, you don't have to lie to them, right? That's what I say. Like, you don't have to lead them down the path. You're just not telling them anything.
I'm just gonna, and I had work to do because I do a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of neat because for some of the people that have been following me for a while, it's called Capture Fish. If you guys haven't subscribed to it, please go ahead and subscribe. That'd really mean a lot.
That.
But it's and so it's kind of I don't have the footage of Pine Flat, man. That would have been killer. But I have Nasi Minnow footage of me, fishing Nasi Minnow and getting fourth there. I have my tournament finish. I think my practice and all the days at Havasu. And you'll watch me actually catch a 4-pounder on a glide bait. It's kind of neat because, for my viewers, you're able to see kind of this progression. And that's why I'm really excited for the next coming weeks, because I get to share with everyone my experience at the Nationals. And
that is, so you're going to share your Ouachita experience, and then next year I'm assuming you'll keep that going through right into your rookie season on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
That's the plan.
Is that heavy to hear? Because I feel like,
dude, it's so wild.
yeah. When I say that, I'm like, and I'm hearing your story, and dude, it's obvious that you are a natural when it comes to the outdoors and fishing, with your history in Hawaii. Spearfishing, you love to surf, like you're in tune with nature. You definitely strike me as a guy like that. But from a competitive bass fishing standpoint, you've not been doing it that long, and you've already succeeded in what is a lifetime goal for most bass anglers that have been doing it a lot longer than you competitively. So you get this shot now, and man, that's got to just be, I don't know. It's got to be heavy, and it's got to be surreal, and super exciting at the same time.
Man, you nailed it right on the head. And I want people to know that I'm incredibly, incredibly humbled by this win, and I understand, that this is a lifetime goal for most bass fishermen. And it was one of my goals as a kid.
For sure, yeah.
And, but it was, it's something like my day one on Ouachita, I fished with a guy from Alabama, and we're good buds now. His name's Mark Edmonds, and he's a killer fisherman. He had 3 fish in the boat before I had my first one, and he said he's been fishing Bass Nation for 30 years,
Wow.
and it was his first time to the Nationals.
It's incredible,
And,
man.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just, I'm incredibly humbled, and it totally is surreal for me, and it's I would say it's sinking in a bit more because my work, I got back last week Sunday at night, and Monday morning at 6 a.m. I went straight to work, developing pitch decks, trying to figure out budgeting for this coming year, talking to a financial advisor. This is the one shot that I get, and I don't want to blow it. So I'm trying to do all the best possible things that I could do to set myself up, for the coming couple of years.
Very smart. Very smart, man. That's something you don't hear a lot of bass pros say, and that's no offense to anybody, but that's the name of the game. What you just said right there, man, is unfortunately we live in this sport where it is pay to play. It is, and I know with your prize package, I believe, are your entries covered in that? I believe they are, right? Or are
Part
they?
of them.
Part of them. So part of your entries to the elites are paid, but they do provide a boat, correct?
Yeah. So which is crazy. So I'm not going to take too much time on my old story.
You're good, man. You fish out of a 30-year-old boat. I was getting there, but yeah, that was where my question was headed. You that's kind of been your deal.
Yeah, man. It's funny because right before the event, about 3 weeks before the event, I bought a Triton TR21.
Okay.
Like a 2006, and which is a huge upgrade.
Yeah.
But I knew that after having the team deal, so I ordered like an Ultrex and some like nice graphs for it, but it wasn't going to be ready in time. And I was thinking, and I was definitely kind of like getting spun out a little bit because everyone's like, "Yo, dude, like all the local dudes are going to show up with tin boats and jet boats and like get into backwaters, and you're going to get smoked." And I was like, "Thanks for the confidence, but
appreciate it."
Yeah, appreciate it. But I was getting a little bit spun out on it. And one of my friends, this guy named Lance Kerfalis, and he's my partner at the ABA, the local ABA here at Casitas. And he goes, "Maddie, you've gotten this far out of your old boat. Why don't you think you can compete now? Like, what's changed?" And he had, and that what he told me resonated so deep because I'm like, you're right, man. I don't need all this new stuff to to like spin me out because it's a lot of electronics that I have to learn and whatnot. Even though I've got to play with like the Panoptics, I've gotten to play 360 on my friends' boats and whatnot. But he's like, dude, don't stress yourself out. Just go and do it on the old Ranger, and if anything, if you actually do succeed, that's just going to be even more badass.
No doubt about it, man.
But yeah, I got my console graph is a X96 Lowrance.
I remember that one
from 1991, I believe. It tells me depth. It also tells me temperature, which are the two most important things.
I agree.
And then my bow mount or my bow electronic is a Lowrance HDS 7, but from 2007.
Okay.
So at least I have GPS on it, and so whenever I on the Ouachita River, it was great because I'd go and lay a waypoint down if I found a fish, and it would put a waypoint on land. Because
you're like, I think it's somewhere over there. I'm not sure. How spoiled are we, dude? You just hit it. Everybody's like, oh, I got these 7 graphs, these 37 batteries. My dude out here making the Classic and the Elite Series, and his graph is putting waypoints up on the damn dry land. So I don't want to hear any excuses from any of y'all listening to this that your boat's not good enough. Man, I would do this if I had that, or I would do that if I had this. Listen to the man right here. Please listen to it. It's beautiful, man. I love it.
Thank you, man. I just think that, it's a lot of younger anglers now and through social media and whatnot, you do get to see all these pros with all the bells and whistles and whatnot. But I think the one thing that has been so beneficial for me as a fisherman on a whole, and not just as a bass fisherman, is my ability to understand a condition, to understand what's going on with the weather, understand the surroundings, and understand what are the little elements and nuances in a fishery that make those fish tick, or what make them want to feed on certain things. And if you're able to pull yourself away, just like, being sucked into your phone too much, or getting sucked into a computer or a TV, if you're able to pull away and really listen and really watch, you're able to pick up on things that you would have never thought of in your wildest dreams if you're looked down, stuck at a graph.
Yep. I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But now I know there's a different part of it, because I don't want to say that, it's because now stepping up to the elites, I'm more than happy to be running a 360.
Yeah, you're going to want all that stuff out there, Maddie, I think.
Exactly. Because, it's funny because when I do get to fish off my buddies' boats that have these tools, I'm like, man, like this is something else.
It's crazy. It's next level, but people take for granted what you're talking about too, and that's being able to dissect the day, the conditions, the fish, how they're setting up. That's a lost art.
Yeah.
In my opinion, not for the dudes you're going to be fishing against, because they have that and the electronics, but I do think we do a disservice to the younger folks in making them think, hey, if you just buy this, you're automatically a better bass fisherman. If you have this, you've got to have this to compete, so on and so forth. That's not the case, man. I just don't think it is.
No, it isn't. And I think that's, if anything, if I'm going to have any type of message to like younger anglers, is trust intuition, put time on the water. Doesn't matter if it's on a pond or if it's on a river, it's on a lake. It's time on the water. Don't listen to everyone else around you that's telling you that you need this, you need that, you need experience. And experience is the most valuable thing that you can possibly ever have in your pocket, because everything else is just it's gonna just add to that experience and add to that Rolodex of these moments in your life where you've like, aha, that's it, or those times that click.
And that's pro fishing right there in a nutshell, man. Or hunting or saltwater fish, whatever that is. But it's calling on those experiences to, like you said, make it click, piece it together. We've all had those days on the water where you go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those aha moments.
Aha moments.
And the dudes at the top level of the sport have had as many of those as anybody, whether it's like you going around a pond every single day, 4 hours before work, just to learn what you did. That was the closest water to you that you had access to. And dude, you learned you would not be where you are today without those experiences. I think that's fair to say. And being obsessed.
Obsessed.
That's it, dude. That's it. So real quick, going back, and I know I'm all over the place. I'm excited to talk to you this morning. But
good, man.
So in this Elite Series bid, you do get this boat. I mean, are you uncomfortable with that? I know you've got an older boat, but is that something you're excited about, is stepping into this boat they're providing?
I've always been a big fan of Ranger. Luckily I've been able to run with my buddy who my partner Lance has a brand new Phoenix, and then I've had other friends that have different styles of boats and whatnot, so I get to because of my experience as a waterman, and I've been in 15-foot seas in a 13-foot boat, so I growing up in Hawaii, you learn how to surf, you learn how to read the water, and so I'm fairly confident behind the wheel of a boat, and so being able to run something that has a hot foot, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is luxury.
That's awesome.
This is luxury, and so I'm completely stoked. It's been a dream of mine. I'm that guy that will go on Ranger's website or go on Phoenix's website or Vexus and just like put in colors and stuff like that, and just daydream.
That's awesome,
and just daydream, And so it's something. I knew that I was going to get there eventually. I knew that everyone there's a plan and it's all going to fall into place when it needs to. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust the process, because, the journey is just as important as the destination. And so to be able to kind of be in the moment and know that eventually I'll be able to get into a newer boat, that will be the day. And the fact that I get to run a 520Z next year is just mind blowing.
So
and
it is a Ranger. It's a Ranger.
It's a Ranger.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, it has a 250 Merc on it. I'm pumped. I get to run a hot foot. I actually get, I don't only have a trim tab, I also have a jack plate tab.
Yeah. You got all the bells. Dude, I'm assuming they're going to take that boat back at the end of the year. You're going to be hard to find, I feel like. I feel like I would just drive back to California, park it somewhere, and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, Bass. Like, why are you coming at me like this?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, what Ranger?
Like, why are you sending Mark Zona to my house? This is weird. I don't have your boat.
Yeah, Zona, I don't have it.
That's not here.
I hope, and I have confidence in for the season of 2023 that, I'll be able to find a partnership with a company.
No doubt.
I got to fish with K Pink during the U.S. Open, and we had a great time. And I just actually put that video up last week, Monday, and I got to ride on his brand new. I forgot the model, so don't kill me. But it's the newer Bass Cat.
Okay.
And, John Cruz is going to run one this year, it's so rad. They took the older, with my whole thing with Bass Cats were like, oh man, yeah, they're fast, I get it, but look, I'm not a speedboat driver, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
But I need a stable, wide dance floor, and I look up front, and now this new Bass Cat has this nice, huge, wide front. And so I told John, I was like, dude, you're going to be stoked on that thing. One, it's freaking fast. But it's two is the width up front. You feel like you're on like an old school Ranger, like, on a 520, you know,
those boys do a good job out there in Arkansas, to say the least. And dude, Kevin Short, we got to give him a shout out real quick. He's my dude. I love Kevin Short. I get a lot of, love and hate for being brutally honest, but Short was like the first pro, in my opinion, in professional bass fishing that was publicly just himself. And what I mean by that is, if he called it exactly, and he did it on a blog, but he called it exactly as he saw it. And he caught a lot of crap for it for years, love and hate, like I said, because people don't like brutally honest. But dude, K-Pink was that dude, man. He would just say, well, I think this sucks, or I think this is good.
Yeah.
And I love that about Kevin. Very cool. You got to spend some time with him.
That was really something. Like we got our text from Billy Egan, and he's like, everyone gets their pairings at night. And when it came up, I was like, no way.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I just kind of watched him, and we had a great time. Was able to put some fish in the boat, and we both had a great time. And I think it was cool when I won in Louisiana. He shot me a text, and then cool. that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, so. Man. Very cool. That U.S. Open's something that I think about every year. I'm like, I gotta go play around in this thing at some point in life. Like I've been out west several times, but I've never fished Mead, and I would love to experience that. Man,
Mead is a beast.
Yes.
I will say.
Yes.
And I've I would say that's probably one of the bigger bodies of water that I've been on Lake Erie. I got to fish for some walleye in Lake Erie, and so that was cool to see, like, basically an ocean but a freshwater. But we don't have too many massive systems where you can go and run an hour and still have another hour to run, or half an hour. Like, for me, a long run, and I think this is going to be the biggest adjustment for me on tour, is that I'm going to have to get used to making those longer runs to get into certain bodies of water, and also to, like, kind of be on top of my timing with things, because, here, even on the Delta, but a Delta, like a 15, 20 minute run, that's a long run. And like on my local lakes here, a 5-minute run is like your longest run that you're doing. And so it's, to go and attack places like, St. John's coming up, and then also, Hartwell for the Classic. the fact that you can go run up into an arm is going to take you an hour to get there. It's
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Hartwell is one of those sneaky lakes in the South that is so much bigger than you realize. You don't think of it as being this giant, massive body of water, but it is because of those arms that you're talking about. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
man. So, dude, it's crazy, man. I'm so excited. I get to so basically this next coming week, doing a few other podcasts, a few other meetings, and then I leave. I'm gonna go up to Washington, spend Thanksgiving with my brother who lives up there now, and then I'm gonna fly home to Oahu, and see my parents. And there's a couple of news stations in Hawaii that want to have me on.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah,
if you need, like, I'm not a tough enough dude to be like a security guy, but if you need like a partner to go busting up in Oahu, with you and be like, hey, this bearded dude travels with me now. Like, if you need that from me, Maddie, I got you. Like, if you need that, if you need to go pick on some Hawaiian smallmouth, I'm your dude, because that's bucket list for me, man. That's bucket list for me.
If I'm ever out there and you want to come out, I'll get you on some Hawaiian smallies, bro. I will change your life.
Oh,
Imagine,
dude,
it's
incredible.
It's something else.
It's something that people, I don't think a lot of people realize that they're actually smallies. And I know you got the peacocks out there, but people, I don't think people realize, especially like my Tennessee River rats around here, that you could go to Hawaii and catch a smallmouth. You don't think about that because it's this tropical paradise.
Yeah, it's something special, man. And that's another thing that I'm really excited for, with this exposure, is that I'm able to now share like my fishery in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And as long as people, obviously travel mindfully and visit with respect, obviously not littering, obviously making sure that they respect locals and the land, and the Aina is super important to me. But you'll be able to have an unforgettable time and leave the place with such an incredible experience that you'll never forget. You're hiking through a rainforest and being able to flip a tube into a stream and stick a smallmouth.
Come on, man. I got to get that in my life, dude. I've got to. Like, I grew up, I learned to bass fish fishing ponds, but also I've got several streams and rivers here in southern Tennessee full of big smallmouth. We're really fortunate. I actually live right on one now to this day, and you can go wade just about, I won't say 365 days of the year. You got to put on some waders when it starts getting cooler, but you can catch a bass out of these little streams and rivers almost any day of the year, and up to 5 pounds. We've got a lot of big ones, and so like in this river, the main one I fish feeds into Pickwick Lake or the Tennessee River, so it's got great genes, and I mean these fish really grow. But the idea of going through the rainforest, and I've seen pictures, I've seen video. I just sit here and foam at the mouth, man. That is definitely. If my wife, who listens to the podcast every week for some reason, when she hears this, she's gonna be like, "So when are we going to Hawaii?"
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure to set you up either. So the two different that they're on are Kauai and Oahu, and so you have two different islands that are both different. Like the energy is different in both places.
Okay.
Oahu is the city. I'm a city boy when it comes to people from Hawaii, but Kauai is still like a untapped. I mean, it's more and more. Mark Zuckerberg bought out a whole bunch of property out there, and it's not good.
It's changing, right?
It is, and but it's still an incredible place to visit and go and have a really cool experience like that, because it's when I was 14, there was this fishery called Ho'omalahia. Yeah, it's a tongue twister, and in Ho'omalahia, one of the streams that fed into it, the smallmouth they're obviously invasive, but they got into this. It was a spillway overflow to prevent, for floods. And the smallmouth, and I must have been even younger when I found out about it. I was probably 10. And I remember it was raining. We were camping there as a family, and I had my combo, my Bass Pro, like it was a Bass Pro combo that I bought with my when I went to Sacramento with my Uncle Bob. So I had a little bait caster, and I tied on a black spinner bait. And my first cast, I get wrecked by like a 2.5, 3 pound smallmouth, and my brother and I just whacked them nonstop all day, and had over 30 fish.
Wow.
And we're like, oh my gosh, no one knows about this place.
Even better.
we had it all to ourselves for a couple years, and I actually became a volunteer ranger there because there was one little stretch that was the quote unquote designated fishing area. And so I was like, okay, how do I get around this?
So you took a job. I love that's dedication, dude.
And so I got a ranger name tag, and so I'd be fishing, and they're like, hey, you're not supposed to be fishing. I'm like, I'm a ranger. I'm doing research on the smallmouth population. Just imagine a 12-year-old telling you this,
You see the badge, buddy? Back up. This is a stretch you do not need to be throwing your lures into.
I got credentials. Actually, you can't be here.
You can't be here. I can. Step back behind the rope, sir.
Dude. So when I was 14, 2 years later, I almost caught the state record, and it was 4.5 at the time. I caught it was 4.49 or something. I had missed it by like 2 ounces.
Jeez.
And that was something. And then what happened is a guy came in, and they were running this kid program where they were using bamboo poles to catch tilapia. And they were like, well, the bass keep breaking off because they'll eat the tilapia, and so we got to get rid of the bass. And I was like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, we can teach kids how to bass fish. Like, let's not do that. And it was tragic. And because the guy was, this older gentleman who had, a career in fisheries and ran a local like fishing magazine, he totally lobbied and got all of the smallmouth removed out of there.
Wow.
And killed the whole fishery. And it was tragic, man. I was literally heartbroken. And then a couple years back, one of my buddies who's a fishing guide on Oahu, he's like, dude, I snuck a couple peacock bass in there.
And, I'll show him.
and so the older gentleman passed away, and now the peacocks are starting to take over that place, which is great, because now it's like at least there's another bigger species in there that aren't just cichlids.
Very cool. That's I don't know, man. I can't wrap my head around smallmouth in Hawaii. Peacocks, yeah, I get that. I could get that, but water temperature wise in those places, I mean, is it because you're in the mountains? I mean, obviously it's got to be pretty cool for those smallies.
75 degrees year round.
I'm moving. That's it. Do you think they would accept a bearded redneck? I think they would.
I tell this to everyone: as long as you tread with respect and humility. It doesn't matter what you look like. Local people are very accepting, but as soon as there's disrespect and ignorance involved, that's when people can turn really quick. And so that's just something that I've learned growing up is, humility is one of the best traits that a human can possess, because when someone else is able to brag for you, or when or someone else can talk highly of you, that's the highest form of flattery. And so it's in Hawaii it's very important because of the history, and if people don't understand the history of Hawaii, or you travel there, you have to understand that the Hawaiian Islands, it was its own sovereign nation.
That's right.
And there was its own sovereign nation of Hawaii that actually technically still exists. In the world courts. It's crazy. I learned about it in college more. But yeah, like the illegal annexation of the nation of Hawaii by the U.S. And so you do have, and I don't want you guys to get me wrong. I'm definitely a proud American. And but there is a flip side to the coin, where people are like, local people, the Hawaiian people that were there originally, or they feel cheated. And so, there is growing up being, I'm hapa in Hawaiian, that means half. Before it was the term where if you're half Hawaiian, half something, and then like the term kind of got loosely, moved around to half Asian, because a lot of people think like Asian people are Polynesian, which is pretty wrong. So with some like a Hawaiian, I'm like, no, actually, I'm not Hawaiian. I don't have Hawaiian blood, but I have the pride of a Hawaiian. I'm born and raised in Hawaii, but no, I am not Hawaiian. But I'm half Chinese, half and I'm Irish, German, French. And so I'm a mutt. My dad
combo, man. You're like that Bass Pro Shops combo you're talking about.
I'm
you're
a combo,
son.
So it's so that, I guess that's my tip for anyone that's traveling to Hawaii, and feel free to reach out, and reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to set you up with some really good people that can put you on fish. And if it's, obviously in my next couple of years are pretty booked up.
Pretty booked up. Yeah, I was gonna say you're not gonna be taking too many Hawaiian guide trips, I don't think.
Yeah, but I'll still, I'll be back home. I definitely, I have a lot of my good friends that I grew up with, are still home, and my parents still live there, and a lot of my family lives there. It's a place that I still call home, and will forever.
That's too cool, man. Well, I can't say thank you enough for taking the time here on a Sunday to come chat with me. And the invitation is open. If you are in Tennessee, you're cruising through, you want to pop in the bar and grill, we'll do us a podcast. We'll go catch some bass around here somewhere, man. But can't thank you enough, dude. Can't say congratulations enough. Life is moving very fast for Matty Wong, but I think that especially after talking to you, man, you're going to be able to get a grip and succeed. I think next year is going to be a big year on the Bassmaster Elite Series for you.
Well, thank you, Luke. I really appreciate it, man. And again, thank you for having me on. When I heard you give me a shout out on your podcast originally, I was like, oh man, I gotta drop a comment.
That's awesome, man. And, it made me smile, dude. I was like, holy crap, there he is, right there. I was pumped.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, man. I will definitely be hitting you up for that. So
do it to it.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Hey, it's recorded. That's why I say every week, man, whenever folks say, hey, I'm going to take you hunting, I'm going to take you fishing, I'm going to do this, they say it on the show. I'm like, there's record of this. There's record of this. So anything you want to plug, you got your YouTube, you got your Instagram, get it to the low lifers.
No, I for sure. I would love to. Well, my personal Instagram is Matty, MATTY _Wong, WONG. And you can follow me there, and you can also follow my content creation, my fishing content creation page, which is Capture Fish, and that also coincides with my YouTube blog, and that's Capture Fish as well, and that's just one word, Capture Fish, CAPTURE fish, and yeah, I would greatly appreciate a subscribe and the whole notification turn on, ding bell, whatever you want to call it, and
yeah, that's right.
All that, all that stuff. And yeah, go ahead and send me a message if you heard me today, on this podcast. Cause it's really, like I said, it's a humbling experience, being able to finally, or I don't want to say finally, cause it just happened so quickly, but to have this opportunity. And so I'm incredibly stoked whenever anyone, reaches out and is excited about my story. And I feel incredibly blessed because I'm the first one from Hawaii to ever make it onto the Elite Series, and also the first one from Hawaii ever to be able to compete on the Bassmaster Classic.
That is something to be very, very proud of, man. And I think that you're going to have something to say at that Classic at Lake Hartwell. I just got this feeling.
Man, I hope so. It from just kind of what I've been researching, I'm already in this off limits of no information, internet, and but what I've been researching and finding for myself, it really sets up a lot like a lot of these California lakes, and the clear water and everything else. It plays to some of my strengths, and so I'm excited about it. But I'm also trying to do due diligence and put 1 foot ahead of each other, and at a time, and not get too caught up, and really make sure that I pave the right road before my groundwork starts. And so I'm going to try and, if I can get the boat maybe in the second or the third week of December, I want to try and at least get on Hartwell and run around, before it all starts. But man, I can't wait.
Dude, I can't wait either. And I look forward to shaking your hand there, if not sooner than that in the year here at the Bar and Grill, dude. Matty Wong, I appreciate you. Low-lifers, make sure you go follow him. And Maddie, I will talk to you very soon.
Sounds good, buddy.
Thanks,
Have a great
man.
day.
You too. Matty Wong. That was fantastic, man. I like getting to know folks, especially with an intriguing story like his. And we've all got stories, man. Everybody's got a past. Everybody's got their family they came from, their hometown. Everybody's story is a little different, but it's just interesting to me, his Hawaiian roots, his pursuit of an acting career, being a musician, living in Los Angeles, which is not the epicenter of bass fishing. I mean, we've seen so many fantastic West Coast pros come from the state of California. We've seen some come from Southern Cal. And, Brent Erler lives out there, but Aaron Martins was obviously, like he's saying, Costillas was one of the places that the great Aaron Martins cut his teeth as well. And so many fantastic anglers come from the West Coast, but it's not really that hotbed, LA in particular. So very cool hearing his story and getting to know Maddie there. And make sure you're following along, because I think, man, I have this very weird feeling that that dude's got it. Like, he's to be that successful as fast as he has been. There's something clicking there, like from a natural ability standpoint. And I think that as long as he can keep it on the tracks, and obviously he's a very positive guy. I doubt you see that guy down very much. But Matty Wong, Bassmaster Elite Series rookie, Classic qualifier, and the Nation champ, which is one of the hardest ways to get to the Classic or the Elite Series, in my opinion, to say the very least. All right. Thanks to each and every one of you for listening to Low Budget Live, Not So Live, this week and every other week. I appreciate it. And I will see y'all next week with more. I've actually got a good one for next week. We're going to have a little in-studio guest stopping by. I think you're going to enjoy. We're going to record that this week. He's coming into town. So little tease there, but it will be. I won't tell you that you'll learn anything, because he and I tend to be really dumber than I normally am when I get together with this guy. But we're going to have a good time on LBL in studio. So look forward to that. And December 11th, again, if you were in Middle Tennessee, within a couple hours, North Alabama, Kentucky, wherever, and you want some plans. You want to take your wife out, do something. December 11th, the Mule House, Columbia, Tennessee. I'm going to be opening up for some good friends of mine, the Vagabonds, Southern Rock Group, and I promise you, go check them out. But we're going to be doing our thing. And on that note, going to take you out with some Biloxi Blues, one of the songs that, without a doubt, we'll probably play like 15 times that night. We might just play it on a damn loop. Hey, here it is again. Did y'all hear it? It's about getting out of Mississippi. Here we go. A little song I wrote that goes like this. All right, be sure to hug your mama. Y'all stay good out there, and we'll see y'all next time.
I never could make it last. Spanish moss and Civil War ghosts, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west, north, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care, no, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.